Hello, Richard Knutson here. In this presentation, I want to talk to you about what are some commonplace and common sense customizations to the Dynamics CRM opportunity entity. Now, these are what I refer to as low-hanging fruit customizations. That is, they're simple to implement, and for many organizations, they will significantly improve user adoption, and along with that, your chances for successful rollout. Now, the fact that I referred to the entry point of the Dynamics CRM sales process by its given name, opportunity, leads me to the first and perhaps the easiest of these customizations, which is to refer to this thing by the term most familiar to your organization. Some organizations refer to this as prospect. Some use the term potential sale. Work with organizations that think of it as a potential project. Working with an organization now that uses the term forecasted sale. And you can see from this screen here, that's the example that I'll show in this presentation. Now, to illustrate that and the other low-hanging fruit customizations I'll do, let's pop open the opportunity form and get started. Besides the change in the name, which I'll show you how to do in a second, what are some of the other things I want to do here? The default is to use system calculated pricing. Now, that can be a pretty powerful thing if you select a price list and go to the trouble of configuring the product catalog, but a lot of organizations may not want to go to that trouble at first, or maybe at all, and change the default to user provided, not require a price list, and not have to select the currency if most of the opportunities you deal with are going to be denominated in dollars or whatever your base currency. So I'll change those defaults. I will clarify this potential customer lookup. Out of the box, potential customer is selectable as either an account or a contact. And what I'll want to do is give some guidance and clarify that sales rep should enter an account here. I'll also add a lookup to contact so that in addition to an account, sales rep can select a primary contact for this opportunity. Another thing that I'll do is add a lookup to product. Even if I don't want to use price lists and system calculated pricing, I still might want to associate an opportunity with a product. And I can do that in a simpler way than the default system calculated product catalog approach by adding a lookup to product. So let me show you how I make those changes. Now I'm going to customize the opportunity entity. Remind myself that it is now a forecasted sale. So to change the name in Dynamics CRM is really just to change the display name. So you can see I've changed opportunity to forecasted sale, plural name, cleverly to forecasted sales. Got a little bit more work to do because I've got a number of views that I'll need to change. So instead of closed opportunities, let's open up these views one by one and change the view properties. In this case, I'll call it closed sale. And I could go through there, and I won't make you watch me do every one of these, but it's not difficult. It's just somewhat time consuming to go through every one of those. So I won't do that now, but let me make the slightly more interesting ones now. Let's create two many-to-one relationships. So these will make opportunity a child entity to the primary entity, and I want contact. So this is my lookup, and I'll just stick with the contact opportunity. The relationship attribute, the display name, will be the name of the lookup field on the opportunity entity. So I want this to be primary contact. We'll see how this works in a moment when I put that onto the form. There's primary contact. I'll add one more. This is going to be a lookup to product. Primary entity, type P a couple of times. We'll accept the default name, and I'll go ahead and use product as a display name. Save and close. Now that I've got those two lookups, most of the rest of the work that I can do here is going to be on the form. So let's open up the opportunity, or the forecasted sale, I should say, form. And let's start clarifying this now. Let's change potential customer to account. Even though it really could be either, let's encourage our sales team to enter accounts there, and then we can add the lookup field to contact, and if I want I can sort by type so I see all my lookups together. Here is the primary contact, and as long as I'm at this, I might as well add my lookup to product at the same time. So now I'll arrange these. I'll put primary contact immediately beneath account. Now, let's start cleaning up this form a little bit. Currency doesn't need to be on the General tab. Let's kind of hide that behind the scenes on the Administration tab. No reason to take it off the form. In fact, I can. It's required. But I can move it to the Administration tab and put it in the background there and not clutter up the main information area in the General tab here with things that 90% of my opportunities won't need to be changed. Let's do the same thing for price list for that matter, as long as we're here. So I'll open up price list and let's move that to the Administration tab. I'm not going to be selecting different price lists if we don't really configure the product catalog. So I've got account, primary contact, there's my lookup to product. Now we're almost there. The only thing we haven't done yet is we haven't changed the default from system calculated to user provided pricing. So let's finish that off, and to do that I need to make a change to an attribute, and the attribute that I want to change, you might not know it because the label doesn't appear on the form. Display name is revenue. This is the revenue field. I'll sort by display name and scroll down until I see it. Here it is. The actual name of the thing is revenue system calculated. It's a true false bit field, and here's the issue. Default value is system calculated. System calculated is fine, again, if you want to use the product catalog in the standard configuration, go to the work of setting up the product catalog and entering a quantity and letting Dynamics CRM multiply that by the price and all that sort of thing. But a lot of people just want to do user-provided pricing, just enter a value. So I can change the default. This is actually a pretty simple thing right there that can save plenty of organization with lots of time. Now let's go to the form again, see if there's anything else we got to change about this form. Well, as long as we've changed the default on this field here, we might as well move that field. Let's hide that as well. And I'll show you what this does. It's confusing because this, even though it's labeled revenue, this is not where you enter revenue. Users will enter revenue here on the estimated revenue field. And now that we've got all our defaults set and the form cleaned up, go ahead and save and close, publish those changes, and now I go enter a new forecasted sale, or opportunity again, the CRM parlance. Got a somewhat simpler form to work with. I'll look up an account here, primary contact, whoever the contact might be. See if I've got myself in here. There we go. A simple lookup against the product, and if what I'm selling is a Stinger 20-foot cable, I can go ahead and select that. Now notice revenue is a simple fill-in. That's because I've changed the default. There's my change in the default to user provided. Currency, prices, all this other stuff that normally isn't going to get used in these scenarios. I can just pop that under the administration form. I could disappear most of those things from the form if I wanted to as well, but this is a pretty reasonable way of doing it. Now I've got a simple way entering an opportunity, estimated close date, and I can customize this further. But again, in my experience, these are some pretty common sense and commonly used customizations that people will make to the Dynamics CRM sales process. And you've seen in this demonstration how simple it is to make those if you understand a little bit about what's underneath the hood in customizing Dynamics CRM. So Richard Knudsen, signing off again. I hope you found this useful.